Welcome to part 4 of the Cheapbikebuildoff project. So I've removed everything from the frame except for the headset cups. All around, this frame is in great shape. We're going to go through it and get it completely prepped for the build. We're going to do a little bit of paint correction and get it all set. So here we go. Since the maximum cost is $150 on this project, I'm focusing most of my effort on build quality. Because of the time constraints, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing finish correction on this bike. So I've just started with a clean frame and used a 2-part turtle wax process on it with microfiber cloths. This is all just done by hand, but you can see it makes a pretty decent difference when you look at the before and after. I didn't want to spend too much time working on the paint. I just wanted to preserve the patina and make it a little bit shinier. Aside from more detailed paint correction, I am going to prep it as I would a restoration, and that includes internal frame tube preservation. I like using Shield T9 for this process. I made an entire detailed video on how to preserve a bike frame, and I'm including the link right above. I'll also include a link to Shield and these super long straws down in the description. I wanted to chase and face this bottom bracket to make sure that everything was going to go together smoothly. I'm chasing both sides, but I'm only facing the drive side because that's where the flange for the cartridge bottom bracket sits. If I were upgrading this bike to a modern outboard bearing set, then I would face both sides. I measured up the original cup and cone bottom bracket, and I dug around through my used parts inventory, and I did find a used cartridge bottom bracket that I'll clean up and make work for this. A little dirty, but still smooth, so we're gonna clean it up and put her on. One of the things you have to take into consideration when you're upgrading to a cartridge bottom bracket is how the original cable guide bolt is fixed in the bottom bracket shell. With a cup and cone bottom bracket, there was no concern about clearance, but with a cartridge bottom bracket, you're definitely going to have interference. If you aren't aware of this, you'll think that you're cross-threading the bottom bracket in. So it's just one of those things to double check when you're working on an older frame and upgrading it. This would be a lot easier if this was a bolted on cable guide and you just grind off the excess. But with a riveted guide, you really have to drill it out and tap it for a new bolt. This isn't too big a deal. You just got to be careful when you drill it and not enlarge the hole so you can still tap it with a 5 by 0.80 tap. Then you can use any 5mm bicycle accessory bolt. You can either cut down or grind down a water bottle bolt or use a short bolt from another bottom bracket cable guide. I keep old cable guides and bolts that I save off of scrap frames, so I usually have a few laying around. The original headset is nothing special, but it's in really good shape. It's not peened or anything from being ridden loose, and it's clean, no rust, so we're going to rebuild it. I've already cleaned it, and I'm just using Fillwood grease to pack the bearings and set everything in place. So the frame prep is all done, ready to go. Next up will be rebuilding all the components and getting them ready to assemble, go through the wheels. I want to give a huge shout out to Erie Bicycle, Bike Shed Boy, and Mullet Mechanic. I'm going to put links to them and all the other builders in the Cheap Bike Build Off below. I really hope you check them out because they're all great to watch. Thank you for watching.